So my name is Richmond. I am from Chroma Richmond, a level 300 student. And here I'm working on a table to receive inputs from a user. And I have the ID, the first name, the last name, the age, which will be inputted by the user. And I have the button for add, the button for update, and for delete. So I have the data grid view tool. So here I declare an integer to hold the index of the current selected row, and I create a data type, the structure of the data, which is ID. So get type integer, and I have the first name, which is string, last name, which is also string, also age, which is integer. So here rows, I add rows to the table by manually inputted. But so I have the table dot rows add one XXX as the first name, YYY as the last name, and 21 as the age. Also here, I bind the data to the grid view table and use input box to show a pop-up and get up from the user, get input from the user. Also here, add a new row to the data table with the data provided by the user. The data grid view will update automatically to show this new row. And to check if a valid row was clicked, so if e dot row index greater than equal to 0, then it get the index of the row that was clicked. And also here I use a reference to the entire selected row object, then select row as data grid view dot rows index. So and this code test id dot test equal to selected row dot cell 0 value dot string is used to populate text boxes with the values from the selected row cells. So cell 0 is the first column and cells 1 is the second. So cells 2 will be the third. And here I use the update, and this code is used to update the table. So if a user wants to update the table, you click on update and change the values, then get a reference to the row that was last clicked. And here, so to delete, so if a user wants to delete a row from the table, the user will click on the rows, then he will click on delete, and that selected row will be deleted. Also, this code is used to remove a row from a table. So let's see how it works. So here we want to add to the table. So you input your ID 11, first name, let's say Kofi, last name Ama, age, we have age 43. So here we click on add, and it will enter the ID. So 11, first name Kofi, last name Abba, age 55. So it will add a new row to the table. And also, if you want to update the table, you click on, let's say, one, then you click on update Ama, and it will change the name from the previous name to Kofi and Ama. Also, if you want to delete a table, you select a column, then you click on delete, and it will delete that table. Okay. Okay, so here in this video, this code is used to show the data of in a table, in already existed table. So here we have the data structure, the table structure, and we have the rows which has been manually inputted, and we have uh, first check that a valid row was clicked. So this code is used to check if a row that exists in the table was clicked. And we have dim id as string equal to selection dot cell 0. This one too is used to convert the cells to a text string. And also a message box will be more appropriate for only displaying. So this one, the message box will display whatever data that was clicked on. So for instance, if you take the table, the forms, when you click on first name, when you click on this, it will show the ID, which is 2. And when you click on OK, it will show the first name, which is Erit, ERT. Okay. When you click on again, it will show the last name, which is IYT. And when you click on, it will show the age, which is 86. So basically, this table, this code is it helps us to know the values in the table. Okay, so in this video, we are going to learn how to display a list of users and allow the user to add new users or update the existing ones using input box. So here, this is the data types, and here we have this is the data which has been inputted in the system already. So here, this code is used to this code is used to check if row is selected to prevent errors. So if the user wants to change or update the table, you will have to click on that table and input the new values he wants to. Or if we use the if statement to check if a row is actually selected to prevent errors, and return exit if the method of the row selected there is nothing there, or the no row has been selected. Also, we use this row to get the index and the row object directly from the data grid view current selection. So we have the dim id as string, id equal to input box, enter the new id, new data, row cell 0 value to string. This is to get input from the input box. And also we have dim fn as string, which is the first name. So the user will enter a name, the first name, and we have dim ln as string, which is the last name which the user will enter. Okay, so here insert new data into the selected rows cells. So this code is used to select new data into the selected rows. And we have the add button. So here the user will select a row, then input a new and add a new data to the already existed table. So here insert data into the main table. So here data will be inserted into the new table. So let's look at this. So let's look at this. We have ID one. So let's say let's add a new data to the table. So enter ID 8, first name Kofi, second last name Ado, age, let's say the age 23. You see, a new data will be added to the table. And let's say we want to update the table using the input button. So we click on update, then we enter the new ID, which is, let's say, 0, and new name, the first name, which is Akos, and the last name Aris, age 20. And it will change the new name because the first row will be updated, so the name will change to Akos. Okay, thank you.